Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. I'm going to talk about a new year and new resolutions and athletic training and ways to keep in shape as the new year begins. We all love to do that. Patrick Labat is with the Health and Sports Performance Specialist over at TGMC's Sports Performance Training Center. Actually, Terrebonne Generals, I should say, instead of TGMC. But yeah, let's talk about that. And let's talk about there's a lot of weekend warriors, but athletes-wise, let's start talking about athletes and performance, injury prevention, getting bigger, better, that kind of stuff. How do you make an athlete go, well, maybe you're good, we can make you better? How do you do that?
You got to get them in. You got to have a conversation with them, and you got to assess them. So our biggest thing is when they come in, we try to show them what they're lacking. So sometimes it's mobility, sometimes it's stability, sometimes it's just they're weak. Sometimes you can pinpoint where we call it power leakage. And so if we can have them understand, I think one of the best things that we do in our facility is educate. We do not just show them, and we don't just put them through an activity and never explain why we're doing it. My coaching staff and I, we make it a point that our athletes understand why we're doing it so that they can do it outside as well, if that makes sense. So they understand, and anytime they understand, it allows them to apply it better because they understand how this is going to translate and what I'm weak at and what I need to do better at. But it also informs them because we won't always be there. And so like if it's a youth kid, we've seen it a lot of times. We'll train a youth athlete. They'll go off to high school, and because we've prepared them and taught them why we do things the way we do, whether it be weight training or changing direction or whatever it is, when they get to that high school level, they get thrown into a weight room. And those high school coaches do a great job. They do the absolute best they can. But they're a little understaffed. And I mean, the fact is a lot of times it'll be one coach and 40 athletes. And so our athletes, when they come, the one thing that we've noticed is when they get to that high school level, or the college level for that matter, if they're coming, in there in high school, is that they're prepared. When the other kids are uncomfortable because they're not really familiar with how things go, and the coaches say we're going to power clean, and a lot of kids are going, power clean?
Hurts my back. Yeah.
Our guys know how to power clean. They know how to squat. They know how to do the things. They're comfortable with it. They're going to be able to run around the weight room, circles around the other guys. So I think just showing them where their weaknesses are and having them understand what we can do for them is important.
Strength is obviously a big part of anything, but I guess you can do it the wrong way, right? If you just get big and you're off balance, that's not going to help a whole lot. And I'll give this example. I'll give two examples. Ricky Williams and Dalton Hilliard, when they both got to the Saints, they're both now going from college to pros. They figure, well, I got to be bigger and because I'm going to take bigger hits and all that. Both of them lost their quickness in their rookie year. It was until they came back and lost weight, they gained their explosiveness back. So I guess that's also a point of what you do. Like, hey, let's find out what you're doing, why you're doing it, and let's work in those kind of ways.
That's 100% correct. That's pretty awesome that you know that. Every individual is different. We've had, in our conversations that we've had in the past, one thing that's common out of my mouth is it depends, right? And that's a common thing, whether it be training an adult or training an athlete or whatever it is. It just depends. So thinner, smaller athletes that are built for speed, those type of guys tend to be more elastic in nature. So in the off season, we're going to strength train. We're going to try to prepare their bodies and things like that. But if you start to take away their ability to be elastic, then they start to lose their speed and they get stiff. At the exact same time, if you take a big offensive lineman or a big defensive lineman or a shot putter or something like that and you don't work them out enough, then they have too much mass to move. So bigger guys, depending on the position, depending on the sport, depending on what they're needed, because there's also a big first baseman that we work with who also has to be able to throw the ball because he pitches. So he can't get overly stiff either because then he's not going to throw as hard. So it's delicate. You got to know what the needs of the sport are. You have to know what the body style of the athlete is. You have to understand what that particular body style can handle and what it needs, and what's going to actually be detrimental to their performance. And you got to know what time of the season it is, because right now I have some college football players in the gym that Nichols and a couple other different places, and those guys are in the early offseason. They just finished their season. So we're going to weightlift and we're going to train them, and we're going to try to get them stronger and faster and more powerful. But I also have baseball guys that are training. And my college baseball guys, I'm at the point where we're done with the really heavy stuff, and now we're trying to get them loosened back up and elastic so that whenever they go back for baseball season, that they're not stiff and they can move, because baseball is very rotational. It's very elastic. So you have to know a lot of different, there's a lot of variables to it.
Sure.
And so just having the ability to make the adjustments as needed is extremely important.
It depends, for sure. So let's put another wrinkle in there. So you got male athletes and female athletes now. So do you train a female athlete any differently than a male?
In some circumstances, yes. Because
they're not going to bulk up.
No,
And I don't mean to get all political or whatever.
You know what? That is a really common misconception till this year. Where I'm not going to use her name, but there's a young lady that I work with who just I don't know if I've ever seen a female pack on muscle the way that she does. But yes, for the generalized statement, females, they think that if they weight lift heavy that they're going to get get bulky, and that's just not how it works. So with that being said, there are some things that we do differently. For example, with our youth athletes, our younger females, we tend to do a lot more hip stuff with them because they're,
lower body.
What you tend to hear is that a lot of times their knees are problems, right? So you get a lot of ACLs.
Angle.
Yes. Yep. But at the same time, most of the reason that their knees are getting injured and things like that is because they have weak hips. And so what you tend to see, especially with the long-legged girls and the short torsos, their hips just can't handle the long legs. So we spend a lot of time trying to develop the things that they need. So yeah, it is a little different, but for the most part, being fast is being fast, being strong is being strong.
Right. Going back to college athletics, a Q angle on a girl's, their hips are usually a little wider. Their knees don't track up, so they don't always have the stability. And that's where if you do get those quads and all the glutes and all to help those joints, obviously you might prevent some injuries.
I think every person's different, so that's you can't really answer that with a general question. I think the biggest thing for people is to find something that they enjoy doing, because you won't stick to something that you don't enjoy doing.
Right.
So if you like swimming, if you like biking, if you like the cycling classes, if you like weightlifting, if you like, I don't know, racquetball, pickleball, I don't know, tennis, figure it out, And that's the hardest part for people to do is to find time, they say. But if you make it a priority, you'll find time. There's always a way. Get up early, stay up later, whatever it is that works better for your lifestyle, find a way. But find something that you enjoy, and that's what you want to stick to.
Yeah, look, as we all get a little older, as we start having children and everything else, you got to prune a lot of things from your trees. And for a lot of people, it's work and it's family, and they cut out, self-help, getting in shape and that kind of stuff. So I agree with you. You got to find something, and you got to find time. And for most people, that's in the morning. And whether you do have to get up an hour earlier and go do something, but I think also is moderation when you start, right? Don't blow yourself out where you're hating it so much you won't want to do it.
Yeah, it's better to start slow than to quit fast. That's always a common phrase in our field. But I will tell you, for me personally, I like weightlifting. It's always been my thing. It's what relieves the stress. It's what helps me stay in shape, helps me stay healthy. And that's kind of what we do at our facility. But we get clients and people that come in, and they're asking about this and that. They'll say, I'm not too much into the weightlifting or the circuit training or that kind of thing. So they'll say, I want to join a cycling class. And we wish them luck. That really is. What we're trying to do is tell people to move and be healthy, because it affects so many things. And we don't want you to quit your resolution. And that's what you see every year. People go and they'll sign up for, I'm not going to use any names to seem like I'm trying to degrade, but they'll sign up for a particular gym or particular thing, and they'll sign a year-long contract. And 2 or 3 months in, they're no longer going, and they can't get themselves back in there. And that's what we think is different about our facility. And our facility, the price is still affordable. But with joining our facility, you're going to have coaches. You're going to have programs written for you. So it's small group training. We do some strength. We do some circuit training. We do some, all kinds of things. But it's a well-rounded circuit based on a healthy adult. So we're going to do some strength, hypertrophy, circuit training, all those different things. So we get cardio, all of that. And the program's written for you. It's 4 days a week. It's an affordable price. It's 4 days a week, and you get an in-body scale when you come in. So when you sign up, we put you on our scale. We can tell you your body composition and those types of things. And you get a coach, and it's a small, our facility is small. So we never take any more than 12 per session. Most of our sessions are getting pretty full, but we still have openings. So I think what people love is they don't have to take the time to figure out what they're going to do. It's already been programmed for them. It's well-rounded, so if you like weight training, you're going to get some weight training. If you don't, you're just going to have to do a little weight training here, but then you're going to get the cardio stuff that you like in the long run. So it's well-rounded, like I said. You get the coach involved. You don't have to figure out what it is you're going to do. We kind of give you a pace to start at. We watch you and say, like, hey, look, you might be going a little too hard today. Let's back it down. It's just your first week, that kind of thing. So like you said, starting slow is key, but at the same time, you also want to push yourself because you want that feeling that you achieved something. Right. So having a coach there to kind of guide you through that, it's a big deal. And it's all affordable. It's not personal training prices. It's much more affordable than personal training.
Yeah, yeah. And having somebody that you're kind of accountable to, I know I've always done things by myself, but I always now have a couple of guys that I work out with. And I do feel guilty if I'm like, oh, man, I didn't get to be with those guys today. So that does help you stay motivated and to do that. And to have a coach that's waiting on you, it's like, hey, I got to go do this, So that's good.
The one thing I'd say about that is it's another, if you're trying to stick to your New Year's resolution, I think having a partner is a great thing. So if your thing is to go to the gym in the morning and work out and just do some resistance or some machines or cardio or whatnot, having that person to hold you accountable is going to be terrific. But to go back to our facility at Terrebonne General at the Performance Training Center, our classes, our groups, our sessions, they become families. And you'd be surprised how quickly, if you don't show up, you'll get 5-6 text messages, not just from the coaches, from the other people in the session going, where you at today? You know what I mean? Like, and you can't get away with, I'm just not feeling it today. Like they're gonna give you the business essentially.
And a lot of those times when you do finally get out of bed, you get going, you start working out, you're going, oh, I'm so happy I did this.
Yes.
It made such a difference that I did it today, and now I'm ready. I'm one session closer to where I want to be.
Absolutely.
Really good. And like I say, your program's awesome. Lifting weights is awesome. Being in part of a gym. But even if you can't, maybe you can find some tennis shoes and just walk out of your front door, go walk for 15 minutes one way and 15 minutes back the other way, and it'll do a lot to get you going and get you started. As I said, some of those folks that maybe in their early 30s start having kids, they might be 45 now and going, oh, I got to get going. That'll at least get you going. Then you can go to the next step for sure. You guys are health and sports performance specialists. So we got about 30 seconds left here, and I'll carry this over to our next session. But how important is it, the scale? When you're trying to lose weight, you're looking at the scale. But it might not just be the scale, right? Maybe you ought to look at how your clothes are fitting a little better and maybe stay off the scale.
Composition to me, I mean, you can't, that's another one of those questions. You'll find in this field, a lot of it depends. So it depends on your age, it depends on a lot of things, but weight loss, if that's your goal, is gonna come down to nutrition. But if body composition changing, like you're talking about with the way that your clothes fit, that's a little bit different. So it's a complicated answer.
And we were just talking, when most people, they say they wanna lose weight, most people just wanna look better, right? I don't care if I weigh 300 as long as, I'm wearing 32-inch waist, I mean.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what everybody's trying to do. So how important is it if you are just trying to lose weight? Is it carbs? Is it protein? Is it staying away from those things? Is there any one fits all for most people?
I definitely don't think there's one fits all for everybody. No.
It's eat less, exercise more.
Correct. And I will come out and say, as far as nutrition is concerned, I'm going to tiptoe here. And the reason is because I'm a certified strength and conditioning coach. My guys and we know a lot about nutrition, but we let our nutritionists at the hospital really take care of those things. So the one thing I will say is, yes, carbohydrates, protein, fats, all those macronutrients, those play a big role in weight loss. You definitely most of the time, and I'm not going to say this for everything, that's why I'm going to tiptoe here, lowering your carbohydrates and your fat intake will help you lose weight. But not every situation is the same. So I should make that clear, is that there are certain situations, whether you're diabetic, whether you have
absolutely,
medical conditions, those types of things make a difference. Age makes a difference. Where you actually land on a percent body fat as far as being a healthy adult is different. Men tend to have a lower, leaner body mass on average for a healthy adult than women do. And in older adults, that goes up a little bit. So it's a complicated question, but yes, weight loss, if that is your ultimate goal, is weight loss, in a general way of looking at things, nutrition is going to be the key, because there's a lot of people that lose weight and never go into it, never exercise. They're just all their biggest thing is they'll just change their nutrition. So calories in versus calorie out is a very basic way of looking at it. If you're using more than you're taking in, you're going to lose weight.
Right. Okay, well, let's go back into your wheelhouse a little bit and actually strength training. And as let's hit some different age groups, okay? Obviously, if you're a younger guy, you want performance, you want to get big and strong and stay flexible and all that. As you get a little older, though, people think, I don't need to lift weights anymore. I'm not trying to compete against anybody. But to me, it's kind of the fountain of the youth is to keep those muscles stronger, right, or just in shape, so you can keep those joints and your knees and your shoulders and those kind of things. Do you see that in your older people that come in?
Absolutely. I have some high 70-year-old, early 80-year-old clients, and they're working out with 20 and 30-year-olds, relatively doing the same exercises. Now, usually the weight's not as much, and usually we focus a little more on their technique. We might change the range of motion. We have clients that have, fused spines, knee, hip replacements, but they understand the importance of resistance training. And one of the things that you have to kind of come to the realization at some point that as you get older, the bodybuilding type of look starts to not become the major goal. At 31 years old, yeah, I still try to lift heavy, and I still try to, because that's what I enjoy.
Sure.
But as long as I can do it and it feels good, and I'm still putting on lean muscle mass, that's a good thing. But I have some clients that are in their late 50s, early 60s, and they'll start to go like, I'm really not seeing the lean muscle mass go up anymore. I'm seeing the fat mass go down, but I'd like to put on some more lean muscle. And one of the issues is as you get older, your hormones start to lower, and so the ability to put on lean muscle becomes harder. So this is difficult for some people, but the one thing that we have to stress to them is don't stop. Because if you stop, what you do have, you will lose faster. Right. So everybody, as we get older, we're going to start losing some of that lean muscle mass. That's why you don't see a 90-year-old that looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. And to an extent, it's your body does that to help you to live longer, and you just can't continue to do that as you get that old. But with that being said, it's important to keep doing those things because the people who keep doing them, they get to live the life that they enjoy for longer. Right. So it starts to transition from how this makes me look to now how do I feel? Can I still fish? I got some 80-year-olds in the gym who love fishing. That's what they live for. Well, they can still fish. They can get in their boat on the rocky, windy day, and they can hold their balance. And and I've had some women come into the gym that were in their late 70s, and they would cry. They came in and they had a knee replacement. They couldn't get on the ground with their grandkids. They spend 6 months with us, and all of a sudden, they come in and they'll cry to me and say, Pat, I don't know how much this means to me, but I played with my grandkid and was actually able to pick him up off the floor yesterday, and that was such a big deal. So weightlifting, resistance training, but just exercising in general is extremely important for not losing it too fast, if that makes sense. Sure. So goals change as you get older. And some people have a hard time accepting that, but we try to do our best to have them understand that if you stop doing this, you think it's bad now, but it's going to get way worse. You know? So it's about maintaining at that point.
Yeah, and like I say, as we're young, we're doing it for performance. As you get older, it's prevention and the prevention of injuries. And actually, that's for younger too, right? Absolutely. Because, part of lifting weights is not just to be stronger and bigger and faster, which is part of it. It's also injury prevention, that you have some kind of armor on your body when you have a contact, or your shoulders you're throwing as your muscles throw or run, that kind of stuff. So all very important. So in general, you guys have some spots, you said, and you got a free week that's coming up that'll help.
Yep. So we're doing a promotion currently about the new year, and it's going to be a free week to anybody who wants to sign up. They just have to call in, and we can explain to you over the phone what we have session-wise available. You get one free week. The only thing you have to do is sign the waiver. There's no payment or anything like that. You try it out for a week, and if you want to sign on, you can. If it's not for you, that's totally fine. Like we discussed in the last segment, I just want people to move. And I think I can't overstate the importance of exercising no matter what it is. If you like biking, if you like swimming, whatever it is. So we're just one of those options. We like to weight train, but we also, a lot of people like to point us out that we only weight train. But it's a lot of circuit training. There's a lot of body weight stuff. We do cardio type days and things like that. So it's a well-rounded program, and I think it fits everybody.
Yeah, and how they get in touch with you guys? Just call
985-850-6206.
All right, Patrick, we appreciate it, man. Some good hints. Happy New Year to you, man.
Happy New Year, man.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back on Body Time.